Hi, I'm Brian Morin. I'm CEO and co-founder of Soteria Battery Innovation Group, which is dedicated to battery safety.
And what are you currently working on?
Yeah, so Soteria focuses on battery safety in general, and so there's several aspects to that. We have a couple of new products coming out related to battery safety. Myself, I try to understand, what's the genesis of a thermal runaway event and how do we predict it, prevent it, understand it. Uh, and then we also, as a consortium, we try to communicate, and I'll say communicate fairly, right? Neither overhyping the problem nor the solutions, but to try to just generate an open dialogue so the industry can have a place to talk about something that's a kind of a tough topic, right?
Yeah, and thermal runaway is such an important topic now and forever will be, right, in the battery industry. When you're explaining to someone who is not really familiar with batteries what thermal runaway is, what do you tell them?
So there's a couple things, right? First, they're rare, so don't be afraid of your devices. They're very infrequent. But when they happen, there's three things that make them different from, tipping the cat tipping the candle over on the tablecloth. And the first is that they're unpredictable. You can have a battery that's doing nothing, and then seconds later, it's on fire. And that's the second part, which is it's immediate, right? And it's ferocious. When it catches fire, the release of the electrical energy is far more energetic than what you get with, normal materials just burning. And so that immediate release of the electrical energy can be it can be scary if you're nearby. And so but then finish again with they're rare, right? One in a million. So me and 999,998 of my closest friends are safe from their cell phones. That other poor soul is going to have a fire in his pocket at some point. Right.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a bit of alarmist, like all the headlines you see of battery fires when other forms of energy also like fossil fuels also have fires even more frequently, right? The car fires are due to that, but those aren't the ones making the news, and so it gives this false perception. Yet it's also important for consumers to understand like what are the risks of their technology and how do you safely handle that.
Yeah, no, that's right. And the trick is striking a balance in the conversation, right? That because there are solutions out there also, and I get equally annoyed with the people who are overhyping it in the media as I do with the people who have a solution and try to sell it as if it's a silver bullet that's going to eliminate all battery fires forever, because neither of those perspectives is true. The truth is kind of in the middle. You asked what we're working on. One of the philosophies that we have is that safety solutions stack, they don't compete. And so if you think seatbelts, airbags, anti-lock brakes, crumple zones, bumpers, uh, every time you get a new one, you don't get rid of the others. There's not a silver bullet. Same thing with battery safety, that each new strategy to make the battery safer will do so and reduce the probability, reduce the size of battery fires, reduce the severity. Uh, and over time, as we as an industry learn how to stack these solutions, I'm convinced that even though we're putting a tremendous amount of energy into a small package, that batteries are going to be the safest way to store and deliver energy, even safer than fossil fuels and other things.
Wow, yeah, I love how you brought up stacking different technologies, and is that tied to then what the consortium that you founded does?
Yeah, so we as a consortium do a few things. One is just communications. We open this dialogue around battery safety, but then we promote safety as a system. And so while we have a few components that make up a safe battery and dramatically improve the safety of the battery, and they do, we promote others that compete directly with those, as well as promoting safety solutions that are completely different and complement them, because we understand that the industry is complex. There's lots of different places and ways to apply things, and every battery needs to be designed with safety in mind. And honestly, our thought is with as many different strategies to keep it safe as you can, functionally put into the package you're building. But yeah, with the consortium, we're actively promoting safety systems that have nothing to do with ours, and not seeing them as competition at all, but seeing it as all of us are working to improve the safety of the industry. And I'm gonna throw in kind of one other thing, which is safety is different from other features of the battery. If you have a better cathode that makes or anode that makes the battery more energy dense, if you don't let your competitors have access to that, it doesn't hurt them. Safety, on the other hand, if you have a special safety technology and you only let a certain section of the industry get access to that, in a way, you're kind of hurting the people who don't get access. So we think that open access to safety or broad access to safety is the right way for the industry to handle it. And in the same way, you can have 99 really safe battery manufacturers and one kind of bad apple, and that bad apple hurts everybody. So it's to everybody's benefit to let that guy have access to the rest of the safety technology, because it helps the whole industry. So sorry, it was a long kind of diatribe. They'll probably edit out.
I appreciate you sharing that perspective, and that, I have a question about, you founded these companies for the safety. I heard some of your guiding values through that, but could you comment on what has been guiding you through creating these things?
So the purpose of our company is to humbly serve the industry by creating battery safety technology and helping it get delivered. And I misspoke that a little bit, but we really see ourselves as serving the industry, promoting safety. I tell people all the time, the heart of the company is helping the industry become safer, and everything else kind of flows into that, right, or follows from that. But that's the heart of the company, is we just want to help the industry become safe. It's a tough topic, and people deal with it in all sorts of ways. But we want to just help everybody get safer, and that's why we shamelessly promote everything that works. So whether it's ours or not, whether we make any money from it or not, right? It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who's been in a profession where you literally are enforcing safety, whether you're a first responder, like I was a lifeguard, that whole mentality of everyone has a role to play when it comes to safety. Everyone within a company, suppliers, everyone really. And so what you're doing and bringing those experts together to share what are the actual solutions and provide those kinds of training and networking opportunities is so essential to drive that forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And when you're not working in the world of batteries, what do you like to do?
So I love to hike, and I go take long 4 and 6 hour walks by myself in the woods. And I'll say recently I had 3 bears and a snake on one trip. That was fun. I was actively talking to the bears. Hi, it's going to be okay. And then just last week, I took my son and 3 of his friends on a hike through the canyons of Utah. We went up to see one of the arches on a night hike, and didn't know that we were walking on a sheer cliff for about a quarter of a mile. But there was this drop off, and then on the way back saw a rattlesnake. So second time in my life I've seen a rattlesnake. That was fun. My son almost stepped on it.
Live to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fun.
That's right. I like to get out in the world, right?
Yeah, that's so important to get in touch with nature.
Yeah, and it also I can leave and it's a startup, right? I can leave and be completely bottled up with stress and everything. When I come back, I'm just at peace.
Yeah, that's important to have that balance for sure. I'm learning that balance this year. I started my company.
Yeah.
And what are you most proud of personally and professionally?
I have to say it's our team. We've got right now inside the company a team of about 15 people, and they are so good. They're so humble. They're so dedicated to just serving the industry, and I couldn't be more pleased with them. And to the extent that I try to insert myself as little as I can, because I might mess it up, right? But yeah, they're dedicated to the mission and also just function really well together, and it's a real blessing to be able to work with them.
Yeah, when you have that mission-driven kind of company, I feel like it just attracts the right people who see what you're trying to do and want to contribute to that. That makes all the difference.
Yeah, it feels that way. It does.
Yeah. And I'd love to segue to asking you about your experience working with NAATBatt. So, what is your current role with NAATBatt?
So I've been a vice president and a director for as long as I can remember. I met Jim, I think, in 2012 at one of the early NAATBatt conferences, and quickly kind of got involved. And Jim and a couple other people in the industry kind of took me under their wing as I was just getting into the industry, and helped me network and get to know people, learn things, learn the ropes. And so it's been, for me, a great experience. And from the very beginning of getting in the industry, and when the industry was a lot smaller than it is now, right? So we've grown up quite a bit.
Yeah, how did you get your first mentors through NAATBatt?
So, I think I just showed up at the conference, and Jim, was Jim. He just, reached out and shook the hand of everybody there and spent an hour or so talking with him, getting to know him. And then, he introduced me to other people inside of NAATBatt, and then also outside of NAATBatt, right? At some point, I got introduced to Shmuel. Shmuel's introduced me to 100 people. Another guy I'll mention is Jim Cashmitter, who was probably there at that first conference from Spectre Power. But those folks were all at the time industry veterans, and we're just freely giving help, right?
How has being involved in NAATBatt made a difference for you or your company?
So there's a couple of answers there. Let me answer the me part and then the my company part. So through NAATBatt, I now have friendships that have gone on for over a decade. And these are people that I can reach out to kind of at any time and just ask a question, right? And get feedback and answers. It's also, when you know somebody for that long, there's a sense of that they really care about what we're doing and us being successful. So there's a little bit of a support network, an information and a gut checking network. And then for the company, it's similar, but I try to get other people in the company involved. And we have kind of corporate relationships that also are kind of fostered through NAATBatt. And many of them are relationships that aren't, there's no financial aspect to the relationship yet, right? Maybe someday there will be. But there's when you build a network like that, it builds some credibility over time. And so, of course, you have to, let me say also, there's some accountability. Accountability kind of fosters, truth, and truth builds credibility. And so, there's been those aspects, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And what would you say to a company that's considering joining NAATBatt?
So certainly worth it. Get involved in as many different ways as you can, and especially people who are new to the industry. It's a great way to just in a casual, friendly environment, sit down with some people you don't know, break bread, get to know them, learn about things that are important to your business, learn about things that don't seem to be important to your business right now, but later become important to your business. But one other thing I'll throw out is one of the relationships I have at NAATBatt turned into a member of our board of directors now, who is a longtime friend, John Warner at American Battery Solutions. But he's been a friend now for, I think, 3 different companies that he's gone through. But he joined our board of advisors when we formed Soteria, and then when we formed the board of directors, we brought him on as the industry expert.
Nice. Yeah. I just had a good conversation with him about hiking, so you guys are in good company then.
We do. He's got a longer stride than I do.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the NAATBatt community or people watching this?
I mean, I think the one thing that I would ask people to do is to think of the good of the industry and the good that the industry can do in the world, and if it's possible, depoliticize it. right? I don't think Washington helps us. Either side of Washington helps us, right? I think it's not that energy storage and helping the planet's not political, and so depoliticize it, make it about what you can do for the industry and for the world, not about, the color of your side's jerseys. Right. Yeah.
Truly, like battery technology is that technology that you unlock clean energy and energy security. It's so essential, and we see different companies going at a much quicker pace towards these advanced technologies than they really have a competitive edge over the rest of the world when it comes to that. And so to have the US not fall further behind than we already do, it's important to recognize, you're right, no matter who's in office, we need to have that strategy moving forward.
Yeah, that's right. So
right, anything else you would like to share?
No, I think we've hit everything.
Okay.
Yeah.